Okay, so we're going to do the next staff. I think this is tomorrow's staff. I skipped yesterday, but I think we're still ahead. And I only have about 10 minutes, so let's try to do this quickly. We're on Daf Yud. Maybe we'll just do one Amud. Alright, so there was a Haushtar Avuksivbe Shishin Yisei. There was a document presented to a court that was 6 years post-dated. Savra Rabbanim committed Rava Lameimar. So the rabbis, the students who were in front of Rava, they thought to say, Hai Shtar Ma'ucharhu. This is a post-dated document. Nakve Adamat Yazimne. So we can't use it until the time comes to use it, until 6 years later, it's V'lei Tarif. Niyakva Adamat Yazimne V'lei Tarif. So we'll wait until the time comes and not use it until then, right? So Amar Rav Nachman says, "Hi Safed Davkona Kasve." No, this scribe, he was a Davkona. He did everything Davka, precisely on purpose. B'hanach Shishnin the Malcha ve'Elam Danan leChashvinin lahu Chashiv lahu Muzimne Kasve. He says that the first 6 years when the Greeks ruled in Elam, talking about that it was dated the Greek year, he doesn't count those 6 years, and it's talking about this current date. Sanya, we have another brisa like this. The Greeks ruled in Elam, in Babylon, part of Babylonia, for 6 years, and afterwards they conquered the whole world. Maskif Lor of Acha Bar Yankov and Madam Malchus Yivonim Yinainon. Acha Bar Yankov asked, how do we know the Greek calendar? When did they consider the foundation of their empire? Maybe they're counting from the Exodus, which was 1,000 years before the Greeks made their conquest. V'shav Alpha Kama. Because we don't generally write the millennium, we only write the century when we're writing a year in the Jewish tradition. So since it's 1,000 years earlier, it is actually post-dated. Amar Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman says no, but since this was written outside of the Holy Land, it used the Gentile calendar, the Greek calendar. So it also, it gives what to say about this question about using the Gregorian calendar and so forth, although some people say it's the Indian Avodah Zarah or whatever. But we'll set that aside. But we see that there is precedent of using the Gentile calendar. So Racha Bar Yaakov thought that Reb Nachman was just pushing him away. So he went out and looked, and he found a brisa that showed that Reb Nachman was right, that we follow the Gentile calendars outside of the Holy Land, and only their calendar. Ravina says, Masnisa Nami Daika. We also have a Mishnah like this. The Snan be'ech b'nisim Rosh Hashanah Malachim u'legalim l'mrina l'malachim l'may hilchsam of chistel shtaris. We have a Mishnah, the first Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah, that Nisan is the Rosh Hashanah for kings and for the holidays, meaning that's the first holiday of the year is Pesach. So we ask, what does it mean for kings? What does it mean a new year for the kings? What difference does it make? And we discussed, if a king becomes the king just before the end of the year, and then the new year starts, it's he could be in for one day, and then we say the second year of the reign of King so and so, and let's say he reigns only one day into the next year, so it'll only be a year and 2 days, and we'll count it for 3 years, But what difference does that make? And the answer is for documents that we we put the date according to the documents of the kings, of the reign of various kings. However, we have this as well. The same Mishnah goes on to say that the first day of Tishrei is the new year for years, and which means and for the sabbatical years. So we ask, what does it mean for years? And the same Rav Chisda also says it's talking about documents. So what does it mean? Is it for kings? What do we put on a document? The king's year or the year based on when Rosh Hashanah is? Kash der stars of the Dade, Mashninan kan Malch Yisrael kan Malch Yovdei Kechavim. So the Gemara goes on there in Rosh Hashanah to discuss how it seems to be a contradiction because they're both talking about documents. And the answer is that one is for Jewish kings and one is for Gentile kings. That the Gentile kings we count from Rosh Hashanah, and the Jewish kings we count from Nisan, 2 weeks before Pesach. And Hashem and Tishrei and Ninan. So now that we count from Rosh Hashanah, from Tishrei, and the Greek year, if we're counting from the Exodus, the Exodus happened in Nisan, so of course that's when we would be Alav Shmamina, Machivan Manin Shmamina. But our new year is Rosh Hashanah. We don't talk about Rosh Chodesh Nisan being a new year. So we see from here that we're counting from the Greek kings. So that's a very clear proof that it's not talking from the Exodus, but from the beginning of the Greek Empire. Okay, the next thing our Mishnah talks about is Yom Genusia Shel Malcheim. So we'll assume it's talking about the inauguration day, the coronation day of the king, of the emperor, is considered to be a holiday when you don't do business with a pagan. Yehuda Yom Sheminin Bayev de Kechavim. My Yom Genusi Shel Malcheim, or Yehuda Yom Sheminin Bayev de Kechavim Shel Ismalkam. So this word Genusia is a strange word. So the Gemara asks, what is Genusia? And Rav Yehuda says that it's the inauguration day, the coronation day. V'saniyam Genusia v'yom shmamidim by Ismalkam. We have another brisa that separates the Genusia and the inauguration or the coronation, like Kasha Habadidei Hadavivrei. So what we say is no, that the day that the emperor himself ascended to the throne is a Genusia, and when he abdicates the throne and gives it to his son while he's alive, that's called Yom Shemimidin Boyas Malkam. That's the inauguration. The question is, we're talking here about the Romans. Romans didn't have such a thing. They didn't have a regular monarchy where you would have a father leaving the throne to his son. V'sani Rav Yosef katanas ticha b'goyim shen meshivin melech ben melech baziyatim oid shein lahen like savlei lashen. And it's understood that Obadiah, who was prophesying against Edom, and that the Romans came from the Edomites, they were descended from the Edomites according to tradition, might not actually be true, but it's a strong tradition that the Edomites were considered the most inferior nation. Why? Because and why do we say the Romans are Edomites? Because they don't appoint kings they don't have kings that inherit the throne from their fathers. And the verse also says you're very lowly and despised, that they don't have their own alphabet and their own writings, their own language, that they all borrowed from others later. Now there's issues Tosfos brings about this, but basically that they borrowed not only their not necessarily the alphabet. Ksav could also mean their writings, meaning that most of the Roman ideas were just the Greek ideas that they stole, which everybody knows. Just they took the same gods and gave them different names, things like that. So some say that Yom Genusia means the king's birthday. Vasanya Yom Genusia Yom Aledo. You have another brisa that separates the Genusia and the birthday. Like Kasha Adidei, Divrei. Again, we could say that the emperor's birthday and his son's birthday. Vasanya Yom Genusia Shaloyu Yom Genusha Shal Banai Yom Aledo Shalom Yom Aledo Shal Banai. But we have another brisa that says that it says his Genusia and his son's Genusia, his birthday and his son's birthday. Elamayim Genusia. So what is a Yom Genusia? Yom Sheminim by Malcolm V'lai Kasha. It is indeed the inauguration or the coronation day, and it's not a contradiction. Hadidei Adivrei. This is Genusia is the emperor's own coronation, and the Yom Sheminim by Malcolm is the son. V'lai Kasha lech v'lai Mikvei Malka b'Malka. Al Dei Sheila Moikmei. Kaina Asverus ben Antoninus de Malach. So you're gonna ask, but they don't have such a thing by Romans to appoint the son to be the next king. So the answer is they didn't always do that, but once in a while the king would abdicate the throne. It was an emperor; he wasn't really a king, and he would abdicate and give it to and ask the assembly, ask the forum to appoint the son to be the. And that was the case with Varus, the son of Antoninus, that if the Senate allowed this, and the Doris Rishonim says Antoninus is Marcus Aurelius, whose father's name was Antoninus, is very famous throughout Chazal, and also a great philosopher. And so now we're going to get to some stories with Antoninus. Amalei Antoninus l'Rebbe be'inan l'yimlech es Varus berit chaisai, vis avid Tveria Kalanya, Antoninus, Marcus Aurelius will assume it is, said to Rebbe, they were good friends. He said, I want to make my son the emperor, and I want to make Tiberius tax exempt because they're all Torah scholars. But if I only ask one, if I ask one, I'll get it, but I can't ask two things. I'm not going to get away with it. So Rebbe brought two men. One had one man ride on his friend's shoulders. He put the dove in the hand of the upper one and told the lower one, tell the one on your shoulders to let the dove fly away. So Antoninus interpreted this to mean that we're learning from this that you want me to make my son Asverus to be the new emperor and have him do the job of making Tiberius tax exempt. Amalei, another story with Antoninus, and we're going to leave it off. Antoninus told Rebbe that the Roman dignitaries are persecuting me. So Rebbe would bring Antoninus to the garden and would pluck one radish in front of him. And Antoninus said, so that means that, since they were threatening his life, he's allowed to kill them in self-defense. But he shouldn't kill them all at once, because then he would get in trouble. Rather, he should kill them one by one, and it won't be as clear. So why didn't Rebbe just tell him? Why did he hint him like this? So Amar Shemai B'Chshuv Romi was Saralei. So Rebbe thought that the Romans would then start bothering him. So he could have whispered it, and the answer is no. It says in Ecclesiastes 10:20 that a bird could bring a report. He's not going to get away with it. All right, so this is where we're going to end. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's time for me to go back to work. All right, all the best.